Hello everyone, this is my second video about George Orwell, and in this video I'm going to talk about one of his most famous novels, 1984. The novel is usually called a dystopian novel or anti-utopian novel, which means that it describes a society which is far away from a utopian society, a society which is exactly the opposite of what the ideal society should be. The main objective of this novel is not that to offer consolation for those who suffer, but simply to share some empathy with people who have been persecuted or people who have been victims of social injustices. So in this case, we could say that Orwell tries to denounce any form of totalitarianism and all the horrible deeds that totalitarianisms are responsible for, like murders or starving people to death, for example. What is the story about? I would like to start with the setting. The story is set in London, but this is not the London we are used to. This is a post-war, post-atomic London, a London which is squalid. It's not recognizable in the descriptions. It's dirty, buildings fall into pieces. So it's the London of the future. And as a matter of fact, as the title suggests, the story is set in the future. It was written in 1948 and published the following year, 1 year before Orwell died. And so the story is actually set in the future. London is part of an empire, and it's not the capital of the empire, it's only an outpost. So its supremacy has gone. The name of this empire is Oceania. There are 3 blocks all over the world. You have Oceania, East Asia and Eurasia, and these 3 blocks are at war with each other, constantly at war. So there's a constant state of war in the whole story. Oceania is ruled by a party whose name is So Sing. So Sing is a contraction of socialism and English. So it's English socialism. This party, which is usually called the party, simply throughout the story, is led by the figure of the Big Brother. And the Big Brother uses very simple strategies to control everyone's mind. Well, first of all, there are telescreens all over the place, in the houses, in the offices, in the streets. So every action that every citizen performs is observed by the Big Brother. And as a matter of fact, there's the constant motto, the Big Brother is watching you. So everything you do is observed by the Big Brother. It's really difficult to escape from the eyes of the Big Brother. The protagonist will be able to do it, but then it will be punished for it. So telescreens are one of the ways to control the citizens. Another way is the use of an invented language, which is newspeak. The objective of newspeak is simply to reduce the number of words to very few in order not to give people the possibility to express every thought. So the objective of newspeak is simply to cancel the variety of the vocabulary so that people will have very few words to express their ideas. And another strategy used by the Big Brother to produce fear mainly is the thought police. So there's an order of agents that actually controls even what you think. People are so oppressed that they actually need something to let their feelings out. And this is why people are allowed to have 2 minutes hate. In these 2 minutes, people are allowed to scream, to insult. They do it in group, they do it all together as a form of letting their anger go. This is, for the Big Brother, the best way to control the citizens. Any expression of individuality, any form of sex which is not considered for reproduction, every free thought is forbidden. If you do not respect these rules, you can be arrested by the thought police, you could go to prison, and in the most severe cases, there's this liquidation. It's called liquidation, but it's actually a killing. Who's the protagonist of this story? Winston Smith is the man we get to know from the story, the main character of the story. He is probably the last man who believes in human values and decency and free thinking. Probably the last on Earth, one of the last on Earth. And Winston is a middle-aged, quite weak man. He works at the Ministry of Truth. What is his job? Well, as the name suggests, the Ministry of Truth works for the information and the quality of the information. The main objective of the Ministry of Truth is to control the information on reports and newspapers. But actually, what Winston does is to rewrite history to accomplish the needs of the party. So he changes the facts in historical reports, in past historical reports, simply to realize what the Big Brother wants. So he actually manipulates the truth. So this is not the Ministry of Truth, technically speaking. He feels that he has to do something. He feels the need to escape from this reality, and this is why he illegally buys a diary. There are some shops outside the city. It's of course illegal to go there, but there you could find things which are not, which is not possible to buy. So he buys a diary and he starts writing. And this is of course forbidden because it's a form of individuality. He does it simply by hiding in a corner in his room, so the Big Brother can see him through the telescreen. And this is the first illegal thing he does. And then one day at work, he sees Julia. At first, he dreams of raping her and killing her, but shortly after, he falls in love with her, and she returns his love, and they secretly meet. They escape together for very short periods in which they have sexual intercourses, so they fall in love with each other. And one day they meet O'Brien again at work. O'Brien tells them about Goldstein. Goldstein is the member of the opposing party. Goldstein wants to rebel against the Big Brother, and he has written a book on it. So O'Brien offers Julia and Winston a copy of Goldstein's book, which is of course illegal. And the two are actually convinced they're doing a good thing, that O'Brien is a good person, but actually O'Brien is a spy. He has understood that there's something wrong between the two, and so he wants to denounce them, but he needs to have some proofs for that. So one day, while Winston and Julia are reading this forbidden book, the thought police arrives and they arrest them. They are separated, and Julia forgets about him because she's just brainwashed. And Winston is arrested, brainwashed, and then brought to room 101. which is the final destination for the people who rebel. What is Room 101? It's a place where you have to fear your most terrible, you have to face your most terrible fears. Winston's most terrible fear is that of rats. And the police had rats on coming over his head, and that was probably the most difficult moment for him. After this form of torture, Winston changes, and after this brainwashing, he says he loves the big brother, and he's convinced that the big brother is doing good for the people like him. So there's no way to be free from the big brother. One way or another, if you try to escape, they will catch you, they will torture you, they will liquidate you in case there's nothing to do with you, or you will be brainwashed and nothing will change. Everything will go back to what the big brother wants. So as I said before, what is the main objective for Orwell? That is to denounce, to rebel against any form of oppression. He wanted people to feel free to express what they thought, and he used his two main novels to do that, but also some political reports he wrote. So we could say that he was a social writer. He tried to wake up the awareness of his readers, and also to convince people that they should rebel against any form of tyranny and totalitarianism. Okay, thank you for watching.